DEIR AL-BALAH. Gaza Strip. When Israeli warplanes ed the crowded Jabaliya refugee camp in northern Gaza this week, neonatal nurse Hudaa Ali Eldaor felt the vibration in her ward at nearby Kamal Adwan Hospital. He heard the thunder and saw the smoke. Then the wounded poured in. Patients young old filled the beds and then covered the floors. Burns, shrapnel wounds, life-threatening abdominal bleeding, traumatic amputations. Eldaor went into crisis mode. Stop the bleeding. Resurrect. Clean enough to prevent sepsis. During Wednesday's chaos, Eldaor spotted two familiar faces covered in gray dust. He screamed and ran towards them. These were his sons, 7-year-old Kenan and 9-year-old Haidar. Later that day, he buried them with his sister, 2 brothers, and 3 uncles. On Thursday, Eldaor returned to work, crying, between hospital visits. What was their crime? What were their crimes? Weeks after ordering 1.1 million residents northern Gaza to evacuate south, Israeli army is intensifying its ardment of area stretching in Middle Strip towards wetlands Gaza Valley. Israeli soldiers are also fighting Hamas militants at close quarters just north of Gaza City. This is the beginning of what is expected to be a long and bloody ground offensive. Israel's ground operation, carried out under heavy tank and artillery fire, stranded hundreds of thousands of Palestinians remaining in northern Gaza. Neighborhood residents say they are trapped in hell. We live in constant terror, said al-Sharif, a freelance journalist in Jabaliya who covered the heavy ardment of the camp on Tuesday and Wednesday. This isn't 1 or 2 airstrikes. We're talking about 8, 9, 10. I can't even count. All in the same place. The attacks killed dozens of people and left parts of the camp in ruins dotted with huge craters. The Israeli army said Hamas control center was neutralized Wednesday's attack, and that a senior Hamas commander who helped plan the October 7th attack in southern Israel killed more than 1,400 people was shot Tuesday's attack. It was also stated that attacks hit network of Hamas tunnels under neighborhood, causing buildings above to collapse. Critics say the massive destruction is evidence that Israel's attacks were disproportionate and failed to take precautions to avoid civilians. Israel says it does not target civilians and accuses Hamas of conducting military operations and launching rockets from crowded populated areas. Even if there was a Hamas commander there is no justification for killing so many civilians and creating so much destruction, said Shawan Jabarin, director of Palestinian human rights group Al-Haq. It also struck a nerve in Gaza, where the Jabaliya camp was known for its violent resistance to Israeli military rule during the first and second Palestinian uprisings that began in 1987. Jabaliya is largest Gaza's refugee camps, where 2/3 population are descendants Palestinians who fled or were expelled from their homes during